The Darrell Rogers Show with Terry Braverman.
Darrell, congratulations on what has to be the biggest coaching victory perhaps in your career.
I think so. You're right, Terry. I don't think there's any question about it. I've looked at a lot of other ones. We've had big victories for wherever we are, but we were never in a program with the magnitude that we're in right now. So, yeah, it's a great victory.
How does it feel at this moment? Do you believe it?
Well, I'm worried about Indiana now. I'm not even worried about the last game. I think in coaching, you can savor anything very long. In fact, at dinner last night, we were preparing for Indiana. So, no, you can't savor it because whatever you have done in the past, if you don't continue on, what good did it do you to make the win or get the win? So we're just very concerned now about Indiana, but I'll tell you what, deep down, we're just tickled to death about the win.
All right, you will have a chance to look at the highlights, of course, Darrell, and there were many for Michigan State over University of Michigan. But first, I think it'll be interesting to see how you and Bo had looked at this football game before the season began. And we'll go back now to that conversation between the head coaches of the two schools.
Ricky Leach, when you start thinking about a young quarterback that's gone to 3 bowl games, as well as I don't know how many quarterbacks in the country have ever had the privilege of being able to take 3, and maybe coming on a 4th year of being able to go to another bowl game. And I know your offense is based around Rick, and I know that Davis is a fullback, but that's my feeling. What's your feeling about your offense at this time?
Well, I think, Darrell, you know, you'll have an opportunity to scout us before we play anyway, so you'll know what we're doing. But I think this year we have basically been an option team. Each year we've increased the number of times that we've thrown the football, and I think teams that try to defense our option game have got to leave themselves vulnerable to a little more passing. So I think we'll be throwing the ball a little bit more, and we have confidence that Rick can do it, you know. And so our offense may change just a little bit from what we've done in the past, and if it does, I think it'll be to our advantage. But our backfield, you know, having your backfield back intact, you were fortunate last year to have Huckabee play against you.
That's right.
These other guys didn't have that opportunity, but I think he's a fine back. And then when he got hurt, we didn't have him, and then it hurt us some. So we'll have him and Clayton and Russell Davis at fullback, and Leach. I think that's a good backfield. That's where we're starting offensively.
Well, it's not bad because, you know, I think Huckabee only made 150 yards against us. He stormed us up real good. And hey, that helped a great deal. He broke loose on the weak side option once for 47 yards and hurt us a great deal. And Ricky threw a touchdown pass. And so with those two things, you know, we know that Rick can throw the football. That's not a problem for us. We understand that. I think
it's the media that doesn't understand, Darrell. I know you understand, but it's the media.
Well, I think it's kind of fun to, you know, read those comments between the two of us. But basically, we throw the ball a little bit and enjoy it because we got a different type of offense. But both of us have to win on defense because defense is the big key. And I know your football team lost a lot of football players on defense.
Well, I think you're right. I think, you know, like you're pretty well established in your secondary, and we have to rebuild ours. You have to come up with some outside backers. We do too. We're pretty well established inside. I think maybe you are too, particularly if Fields comes back. And our inside linebackers are pretty well intact where you have a position you have to fill in. And so our problems are not, you probably have maybe a few more problems up here than we do, but we have a lot more problems in the secondary than you do. And then, but you got to have a good defense in this league in order to win, you know that.
The biggest question people ask me is how are you going to do against Michigan? And I always say, well, who do we have?
I thought you were going to say, who's Michigan?
Because I really think a lot of times I look at it and because it's the 5th game of our schedule, and we got USC and Notre Dame before you, and so there's a lot of things that can occur to both of us. And so consequently, if we are both very healthy as the season progresses this week and going to play for this game, hey, it's going to be a knockdown drag-out because it's a great rivalry. It's a sellout. There's no question about that. And so we ought to have a great football game. Incidentally, well, we had a great time in the summer. We've been with you one time in Hawaii with you and Millie and my wife Marcia, and so we really appreciate being and spending a little time. And thank you for taking time.
Well, we did too, and I think you ought to tell all your viewers that you beat me in golf, but I beat you in tennis. So it's even up this summer, right?
That's even. We're 1-1.
Well, Darrell, now you're 2-1 with football being the one that broke the tie.
Right, I guess. The other ones didn't count. This one did.
That's right. Let's go back to Saturday and take a look, and you narrate the highlights.
The first time we got the football, Terry, we did a play-action pass and come out and find Lonnie Middleton over here on the right, because Eddie avoids the big rush, and then he picks up 13 yards on a little leak pass is what we refer to it, and which has got us into some field position. We missed the opening pass to Gibson that we thought could have a touch, and then he comes back and hits Bramer right between two linebackers, and that was a great pass and great catch. And you'll find that Eddie will just go back and throw the football in the first series, and we'll run the football just a little bit, but here was Stevie Smith on a little breach play that we run and just get off tackle and get up inside. And we've got to try for a 49-yard field goal and miss it. Then Ricky Leach comes back on their first series and finds a guy wide open. Holy cats. We don't have anybody around him, but Mike Marshall makes a nice saving tackle. But I'm sure we're supposed to have somebody on him. But then they didn't make their field goal, hit the upright. Then we get the ball back and come back and find Bramer. Bramer caught 7 passes this football game. And got us down into field goal territory, and we take a 38-yard field goal from Morton Anderson. He kicks it much better than he did the first one, and so all of a sudden we're leading 3-0. Now, they have the ball on their own 7. Leach goes to the left on the counter dive option, and he ducks up back inside, and he's off. Right now, when standing on the sideline, I'm a little concerned, but Tommy Graves gets a piece of it and knocks him out of bounds, or Danny Bass would have. But then he comes back and throws an interception. Mike Marshall-Lazare overthrows Clayton. Marshall intercepts the ball, and we're very good at this time. We've taken the series away from him, and we're leading 3-0. Now we take the ball back, and Eddie comes back and finds Kurt Gibson right there between the linebacker and strong safety. Got us up in midfield, and we're able to move the football a little bit more. Come back and throw again to a little leak pass to the halfback, which is Leroy McGee. Leroy really gets thumped in the back there and fumbled the football, but he was already down. Then we're down the 10-yard line. We do a play-action pass after a 5-yard penalty that we wasn't really happy with, and came on and find Lonnie Middleton by himself. But the linebacker slipped and fell down, and that's the only reason he was wide open. So all of a sudden we kick the conversion. We're ahead 10-0. Looks kind of simple, but it really isn't coming quite like that. Then Leach goes back on his own 15-yard line. He's looking for a receiver and finds Mark Anderson, one of ours. And I thought that was
nice of him.
Yes, but I'll tell you what, Rick Leach has 2 tackles, both of them off his interceptions, and so that shows great effort on his part. Play-action pass again, finds Mark Bramer dragging him back across, and he takes it down to the 10. And that put us in close to the scoring territory. And this one, Lonnie Middleton dives over the left side. You'll see him of number 44 dive over, and he gets a score, which means the offensive line blocked pretty well. And then we kick the conversion, makes it 17-0 at halftime. And then naturally, Michigan gets the ball back, comes right back, and Ricky Leach comes back with some play-action pass. But he's rushed, but it doesn't look like he's rushed much until it's real, real late. So that must mean that the secondary is covering his receivers. We're back down on their 45-yard line. Eddie Smith has got a lot of pressure on him. He takes off running. Now, this is a rare occasion, but he takes off down the left side. A lot of people didn't think he could run like this. Most of them with us, but we knew that he could, and we're real pleased they did. This
questionable call, Darrell.
Well, it's not questionable, Terry. It's a 4th and 5 situation. We could have got a field goal and made it 20, but 20 wasn't going to do us any good. And they come back again, and Leach just finds a 3rd interception, which Mike Marshall, a clipping penalty on John McCormick there, which is somewhat questionable, but that's only because our side, and the same questionable, I said, guy gets a late hit or so. Then we come back, Stevie Smith, a little draw, and Stevie really had a good day and gained almost 100 yards for us. So in the first half, we go in leading the football game 17-0, and for the first time, it looked like at least we had things going for us.
And you did. We'll be back to take a look at the second half highlights in just a moment.
First series of downs that they have, Ricky Leach comes out and makes a pitch out to Harlan Huckabee, and they take a 70-yard drive in 17 plays, Terry, and this is a great defense, but they get it down to the 10. It's a 4th down and 3 or 4th down and 2 situation, and Huckabee makes the first down, takes it right down to the 5. But the thing about this drive more than anything else now, Leach comes down, and he's just scissors back up inside, an excellent block from Davis, but
took a lot of time.
It took 8.5 minutes to score. We come back with a screen, and we go 70 yards in 8 plays. And this is the screen that made a good big play for us, and Andy's out of bounds, and an official called hitting out of bounds, and got us a 15-yard penalty, and then we were able to pick up Mark Bramer on the outside. Just great effort by Mark Bramer getting into the end zone. That's all it boils down to.
But this touchdown drive, Darrell, really shows the team had some quality.
Well, that was the thing that put it away for us, basically, because it got us 24 points after having Michigan just come in and score. They, again, find a receiver wide open off their play action, and we didn't get it. We got sucked up on a little bit, and then Davis just rips it up in there, and now it's saved 24-14. They go for 2. Good call. Counter dive option pass, finds Huckabee on the outside. We can't find him in there. He gets it. Now it's 15. Well, we got a problem. Now we're deep in our own territory, and we had a long, long way, and we give a reverse to Kurt Gibson. We almost get the first down. We miss it by 2. Then we come back and we punt the football, and they had 12 men on the field, so we got a 15-yard penalty. Then we threw it to Kurt Gibson for a big gain. Then we come right back and throw another pass to Kurt Gibson up on the, if I'm not mistaken, about on the their 35-yard line, puts us in pretty good field position. We then hold them again. We lose the ball at that point, and then we come back and find another leak route by Stevie Smith, who takes it up to our 27-yard line. This is the only punt we have besides the one that they had the penalty taken care of.
46 yards, race tackle.
It isn't a good punt, but it had a great roll. And if it had been caught, it had taken 15 yards off that punt. But Ray punted the first one 46 yards high in the air, and it was a good one, but then the penalty came. Then it was a big 4th down play again with Russell Davis. Now we got to keep him out of the end zone, and that's all it boils down to. And so here we're just chasing Ricky Leach around, and Angelo hides behind number 76, and Leach didn't really like it. And but that's the tempers of games, and that's the way it's played. Then we come back, we're trying to run the clock out, and Steve Smith runs an off-tackle play to the left, and we get the ball down there 45-yard line with 1 minute and 10 seconds, and we run a pitch to Derek Hughes, our freshman tailback, and get some good blocks for the tackle and the fullback.
He could have gone here, Darrell.
Well, we want to keep him in bounds. We don't want him to stop the clock at 59 seconds. And here at the last play of the game with 4 seconds, we just fall on it, and because we drove the ball down to the 5-yard line, actually to the 4-yard line, and had a legal procedure call, and then pandemonium broke off. Michigan ran off the football field, and Michigan State jumped up and down all over it.
You thought you were going to get killed down there.
Well, it'd been a pleasant way to die, I guess.
Okay, we'll be back in a moment and talk with the star of that ball game, perhaps one of them, Eddie Smith, in just a moment. Well, we have Eddie Smith with us now. Darrell, the trigger in your offense. And Eddie, congratulations on a great performance and a victory over Michigan.
Thank you very much, Terry. It was a great feeling beating the University of Michigan. There's no doubt about that.
Were you surprised with the relative ease you were able to pass on their defense?
Well, if you were out there, you would have realized it wasn't too easy. But I think we were well coached going into the football game. And our receivers, as I always said, I think we've got 3 of the best receivers in the country as a group. And they did well, and they caught the ball, and the offensive line was superb.
The pass
I was
block
touched
was
maybe once all day, and there was no problem with that.
Was that really you running for 30 yards?
Believe it or not, it was me. It felt like 100, I'll tell you that.
Darrell, in 2 ball games now, your quarterback has yet to be intercepted. That's important.
Well, that's what he's supposed to do. I mean, we've discussed this a great deal. We're getting great results out of Ed, and after all, it's his 3rd year, and we better be getting them. But he's done an outstanding job for us, Terry, and I don't use that word just loosely, but he has. And it's been a team effort, though. It hasn't just been Ed. It's been a total team effort, as he realizes. And it was a great win for us. It was a great performance by Ed, but he had a better performance, actually, in the second half against Notre Dame than any time he's ever been at Michigan State. But he's coming around with the confidence of being able to throw the football and audibling to the areas that we find open, that he's well schooled with beforehand by the coaching staff. And so he's just what you want a quarterback to be doing. So, hey, I'm pleased.
Eddie, would you like to have the Purdue game over again?
Well, it's over with now, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Why, you're going to break his other hand?
Obviously, the hand doesn't hurt anymore.
No, it doesn't. It feels pretty good, and thanks to the offensive line for me not getting hit too much, it feels real good.
Okay, now you worry about Indiana, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Ed, congratulations.